It was supposed to be a quiet Sunday afternoon. Malcolm Reed, 38, had just left a community meeting in Eastwood Park, where local activists and residents had gathered to discuss police reform. As a prominent civil rights attorney, Malcolm was known for his calm demeanor and tireless dedication to justice. What most didn't know that day, at least not until later, was that Malcolm was the lead counsel in a high-profile federal lawsuit against the city's police department, citing decades of excessive force and racial profiling. Wearing a simple gray suit and carrying a leather portfolio, Malcolm crossed the street toward his car, parked just a block away. As he approached, a police cruiser pulled up beside him. Two officers stepped out, Officer Brian Keller and Officer Jake Danvers, responding to a suspicious person call, allegedly phoned in by a local shop owner who claimed someone was loitering near the alley. "Sir, can we see some ID?" Officer Keller asked brusquely. Malcolm paused, then calmly asked, "On what grounds are you stopping me?" Keller's tone sharpened. "You're matching a description from a call. We need to verify who you are." Malcolm raised an eyebrow. "I'm an attorney, I've committed no crime, and you haven't provided reasonable suspicion. Am I being detained?" That was when things escalated. "Stop resisting," Danvers barked, reaching for Malcolm's arm. "I'm not resisting. I'm asserting my rights," Malcolm replied, trying to keep his voice steady. But within seconds, he was pushed against the hood of the squad car, cuffed, and placed in the back seat. Bystanders began filming. One young woman could be heard asking, "Why are you arresting him? He didn't do anything." At the station, Malcolm was booked on charges of obstruction and resisting arrest, misdemeanors often criticized as catch-all charges when an officer doesn't have a valid reason for detainment. He was released on bond 3 hours later. By Monday morning, the story had spread across local and national headlines. Civil rights attorney arrested by officers he's suing. Malcolm's legal team responded swiftly, filing a motion in federal court to amend the original civil rights suit to include the Sunday incident as further evidence of the department's patterns of abuse and retaliation. In a press conference held outside the courthouse, Malcolm stood tall before cameras, his voice unwavering. "What happened to me is not unique, but it is emblematic. I was arrested for knowing my rights and calmly asserting them. If this can happen to me, a licensed attorney, standing in a public space, imagine what happens every day to those without legal training, without witnesses, without a camera." Public outcry was immediate. Hundreds attended a candlelight vigil outside the Eastwood Police Department, and civil rights groups, including the ACLU and NAACP, issued statements condemning the arrest. The city's mayor called the incident deeply troubling and announced an independent review. Meanwhile, body cam footage released later that week confirmed what witnesses had said. Malcolm had been calm and non-threatening throughout the encounter. The charges were quietly dropped. But Malcolm didn't stop there. He filed a second suit, this time naming officers Keller and Danvers personally, accusing them of unlawful arrest and retaliatory conduct. Depositions revealed that both officers were aware of Malcolm's identity before the arrest, and internal emails later uncovered hinted at a deliberate attempt to send a message. The revelation only strengthened Malcolm's original lawsuit, now bolstered by evidence of personal targeting. His firm, Reed Legal Alliance, became a central force in organizing legal responses to police misconduct across the state. By year's end, the city had settled the case for $2.7 million and agreed to a federally monitored consent decree mandating sweeping reforms, including anti-bias training, citizen oversight boards, and stricter accountability standards for officers. For Malcolm, the arrest became more than a personal indignity. It became the final push that turned years of advocacy into actual, measurable change. "Justice isn't just about courtrooms," he later told a group of young law students. "It's about standing firm when the system tries to break you, and using that moment to hold the system accountable."